3 about to go underway. Dust2. It's going to be an interesting one. This is one where I guess the positives that we've seen out of Vega can thrive. It's been an interesting best of 3 so far, with that first map being stolen in a lot of ways from Vega.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, it was mainly off of the back of two v4s in a row, really, that ENCE managed to drop and not being able to close out the game. It's taken us to this point. Instead of ENCE being at the pretty much sitting with the possibility to closing this out 3-0, which would have been a gigantic task. Yeah, they have to fight through it, and dust2. Not going to be an easy map. I mean, yeah, it's not one that Vega's actually been playing a whole lot. We've only seen them play it once so far in this tournament. So that was a win versus Fragsters.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in terms of research, you can't really do a whole lot. And as you said, yeah, it does play into a lot of the strengths that Vega has as a team.
Probably something to note from that Fragsters game that we did see is they were playing very heads up. They were very fast towards B. They were trying a lot of long takes. And that's the type of thing that Vega wants, right? They want to take those fights. They want to take those duels. And coming into this matchup here, I don't know if ENCE will offer up that same thing. They play it slow on their pistols. They like to take map control. We've been able to see that across the board. I think they're going to be able to string Vega out, or at least that should be the game plan.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. And in addition to that, it's just that Fragsters played a very different brand of Counter-Strike on Dust2 versus Vega than what they did in their first Dust2 matchup of the tournament. You know, you mentioned the long takes that Fragsters like to do. They weren't committing as heavily to it. They would rather, you know, try to post up one man, getting behind the blue container, and then slowly just getting choked out as utility was used on the side of Vega to block off any sort of crossfires that they'd set up from inside of cave. I don't think that's going to be a scenario where ENCE find themselves too often. I think they have a bit more of a well-thought or well-thought plan as to what they're going to do in order to begin map control.
Yeah, I think, you know, if we want to continue to outline the positives that have been working for Vega through this run, is just how chaotic they can be. And this isn't meant in a bad way, because it's something which they're doing and they're making it work, right?
Yeah.
Their plan is to fluster you and take advantage of the fact that, hey, even if a smoke's down, that's not a wall. Even if you think that you've managed to use enough utility to abscond us from this position of the map, we are here and we're doing it as a team. It's not as one by one as it looks. It's actually, look, as much as it's different, it's something that's working. And if it's working, it's hard to fault.
Yeah, I mean, even still, I mean, as one-sided as Inferno was, it wasn't necessarily off the back of Vega making any massive mistakes in these kind of chaotic scenarios. We did see them find a fair bit of success there. Their issue really was the fact that they gave up opening kills left and right, which just hasn't been too typical for them up to this point. So managing to get into the later stages of the rounds with reasonably even numbers in terms of manpower, I think Vega Squadron can do pretty well for themselves here. Very keen to see how they do or how they deal with potential retakes on the B bomb side. I think still, even on this new version of Dust2, obviously not too much has been changed, but that B bomb side, having to retake that as a CT is pretty much a nightmare, no matter how many players. You know, almost regardless of what kind of man advantage you have, it's still going to be extremely tough. And Vega, I mean, considering they're not going to be the type of team to set up necessarily initially to wait for the flashes and the smokes to pop in before they actually attempt it, that could be interesting to see how it pans out.
Yeah, it's the least exciting Counter-Strike when that's going down. Now, we are just waiting for the teams to whack on their headsets, and I believe we still have to get the knife round underway as everybody's finally joined. We have all 10 players in the server right now. Obviously, a best of 3, it is a very long series. Sorry, a best of 5 is a very long series, right? We're only 3 maps into that so far. Normally, this would be the end. Normally, this would be the end of a series, but right now, there could potentially be 2 maps to go. We do have Mirage and Overpass as the last 2 maps to round us out.
Again, yeah, somewhat surprised that we didn't get to see Mirage coming out already. I think a lot of us expected Vega to go that route right off the bat. I guess in hindsight, they might have would have liked to do that, do the same. But yeah, or at least they're going to get the chance to get onto their second map pick as well.
All right, well, you could just see a couple of players who looks like they were on desktop for whatever reason. Someone's dipped out of the server, so hopefully we get this one underway momentarily.
I think it was Hoochie was experiencing a little bit of a lag, like FPS drop or stuttering, so he's changing resolutions before reconnecting, and he's back in already, so we should be getting right underway, and here we go. Countdown has begun for the knife round, and if there is any map where, I guess with the meta's not being set, you don't really have a clear indication of what side is to be preferred for a lot of these teams, knife rounds probably don't matter all that much, do they?
Yeah, not necessarily. It just depends on the game plan that these squads having coming into this map, right? They knew that this was going to be on the table. They knew that they were going to have to be playing this one. So I would say in a scenario like this, the side choice probably matters more for the team who picked it, right?
Yeah.
And know they have a clear game plan coming into this matchup. They picked it for a reason. So if they can start off on their selected side, then hopefully they can execute that game plan. I'd also say in a lot of the maps, it doesn't really matter for Vega because they can just grind. They are that team who gets a lot done with very little. And this knife round is going to be going in the favor of ENCE. Let's see where they decide to end up.
If I'm not mistaken, I think ENCE have been able to win out the knives on all 3 maps so far.
Yeah,
Started CT side on Trains, CT side on Inferno, and who knows, maybe CT side on dust2 as well.
Sure. It's a pretty good thing to have, especially like when we're running rules where even though your opponent is picking a map, you're still running the knife round,
Yeah.
right? I spoke to LMBT about this a couple times, and he's saying when your opponent gets the side choice, it's most likely going to go in the scenario that you won't see Nuke come up in a series because nobody wants to be starting early in a best-of-3
On a T side.
Nuke. Exactly, right? So having this, it hasn't played out in this best-of-5 final, but certain scenarios it could come up, I guess, on the table that you can.
I mean, we've seen a fair bit of Nuke at this tournament, though, in general. It has popped up every now and again. I mean, neither of the Danish teams were afraid to play it, big as well. Obviously, it comes down to what kind of map pool the various teams involved have. For this one, it's been sent out the window together with Cash.
All right, another team huddle going in. This time they don't have, no, wait, they do. They do have everyone in there.
Yeah, but they don't have arms around each other like they did.
You want
for
arms
the
around
second
each
map.
other? You want a bit
I mean,
more?
that's what they did for the second map. Maybe they're trying to change their game up a
Change
little
the
bit.
huddle.
Yeah.
Maybe it's map dependent, the huddle.
dust2, no flailing arms. Just protect your body at all costs as you run in towards the B-bomb site, right?
I can't believe like when we did see that Vega game earlier against Fragsters, pretty sure Fragsters just did a hard B on the pistol round, and then the first gun round that they won was also a hard B.
Yeah.
It's just
Straight up B-rush.
they're really playing to the part of the world that they're in, I suppose.
And one thing that Fragsters weren't able to do once they swapped around sides and they started playing the CT side was denying Vega Squadron mid control. That was something that we saw time and time again. Just having one of any given Vega Squadron player can do this, at the basically will of their own choice. Opt to go out into mid and see if they can find any opening towards any of the bomb sites, really, to create some spread in the defensive ends. And I think they need to be really aware of it because that's where they found most of their success. Wasn't necessarily off of these gung-ho rushes towards either B or out long.
I'm curious to see with this Vega team, right, when they move forward, if they start to adjust their way that they approach the game. Because even with individual players who have certain moves or certain ways they like to approach the game, they have to keep reinventing the wheel, right? These guys say this is how they practice, this is how they approach the game, and hats off to them for trying to do something a little bit different. But the more tournaments they play, I wonder if they'll see the benefit of molding into more of a well-rounded team that everybody else plays, or if they'll stick with what they've got and try and come up with even newer and fresher ideas. But that's something that only time will tell. We have the pistol round kicking off right now for ENCE versus Vega Squadron on the 3rd map of this best-of-5 grand final here at StarSeries I-League Season 6. Utility in the hands of the in-game leader, Alexi B, on the CT side with Diffuse Kit and 2 flashes. Smoke and a Molotov set up for JR on that T side as the majority of the members head over towards the B side. This is a B rush straight into the hands of X7. They run as he taps away. Not able to get anything done from the car position. Sergey's able to grab one. Trades are going off all over the map right now as it's just left JR, the man with the utility, swarmed on both sides. The Glock unable to get anything done at close range as they run him down. They play this one fast and they get the pistol round on the board as quick as that.
Yeah, that went about as quickly down as it went into the B-bomb site for Vega Squadron. Not the site they would have liked. Can't find the trades immediately. Crushed even letting a bullet into his own one of his teammates as they went through there. But I guess it's an indication of how Vega wants to play. It's going to be up-tempo. Can't really be too surprised by that. Scout in the hands of JR. Seeing if he can do some damage to the players crossing over. Not going to be the case this time around, but Catwalk has been left completely vacant, and Vega Squadron are moving at a really high pace here. Always spots them out, but still ground gained.
Look at the fast pace of these first 2 rounds. So much map control being taken early, but it doesn't really matter if the kills are not going to fall in your favor. But Hachi has something to say about that. Big Deagle kill from the site, and a second one from Crush. And now this is more than possible. This is what we saw on the first map. This is the brawl that Vega want. This is the type of playing field that they thrive under. And they continue to peek, continue to fight. And with that kill onto X7, Sergey is left with no other option but to save. He found the opening 2 kills of the round.
Yeah. I mean, he found both players out mid. Unfortunately for him, at the same time, Olo went down on long, thanks to Huchi's deagle. That's really what opened everything up. And I mean, it's understandable that ENCE is going to leave that area of the map open early on. You want to set up for solid A-long defense. Make sure you have Alu using his flashes to make sure 2 of the players on his team can actually get into proper positions. Just not able to readjust in time before Vega Squadron, fortunately for them, don't get staggered as well on Catwalk. I mean, they continuously move forward for every shot that's fired. That lands on control over the B-bomb side, and ENCE is in a kind of a awkward spot in that sense as well with the weaponry they have. UMP is obviously not going to be great for long if you have to fight the entire length of it. And the FAMAS isn't, at least for my money's worth, not precise enough to feel great going into that kind of a battle.
X7's going to get tagged by JR as he tries to cross mid there, automatically down to 43 points of health. And Sergey is going to try and pick middle himself. He's going to take a tag, so both players have dropped relatively low. And meanwhile, on the B bomb site, they're already peering on in. They're already working their way through the tunnel. Happy to take some duels at range here. Nate's going to come in. Tony Black's going to hit the shot. Going to get traded out from X7 at par. Crush is going to deal with him and the B bomb site as well, and truly in the hands of Vega Squadron right now. Picking up that scout is Alexi, but we already discussed how difficult it is to retake this B bomb site and the fact that ENCE like to play percentage Counter-Strike. So for them, the save option will be the best. See if they can use those weapons next round. Alu did take a full save into this one. He's got 1250 in the bank, so he'll have to take another full save again to get that AWP up as they move into the first gun round. It's going to be interesting to see in which way that ENCE approach their CT side. Will they go with the standard 2 players within that B bomb site, deciding to fight the mid to B or the upper tunnels as they go for the split? With Alu AWPing over towards the car, the swing player over towards CT spawn after helping long, and the anchor. Or will they go for something a little bit more dependent where they have the 2 riflers rocking down long, Alu with more presence around mid? All of these setups are very possible. dust2 is hugely dynamic.
I think one of the things that Vega has to be at least aware of being a possibility, because they do send up kind of just duos here and there to find openings anywhere on the map. They need to be worried about any sort of CT aggression in terms of people getting boosted up on short to get quickly control over mid if they don't want to challenge JR and a straight op for op battle. Things like that could throw things out of whack, but obviously that's not something they're going to have to worry about for this round.
Oh, it is a B rush, and there could be a bit of a tough time going in here. Sergey with the AWP. Doesn't get too much done. The USP's overrun. The bomb site once again completely cracked open. Already 2 responders close outside of the site. Alu and Alexi were both close to middle, but rotating over, they're unable to get in due to the utility. Now they're just going to opt for exits, moving over towards T-spawn and gearing up with aerial.
Might be able to get a drop on JR if he were to fall back here. Actually, it's going to be the CT side to go back towards long.
They're really prioritizing the Kevlar and I suppose the FAMAS on aerial, right? The Kevlar is good. It means that they can save $650 going into the next. They don't need to upgrade or purchase that for Alexi or aerial. And look, a lot of people aren't big fans of the FAMAS.
Me, definitely not one of them. I absolutely loathe that weapon. The one benefit it had to it in previous iterations was the fact that the burst fire was just straight.
Do you think that that would make it viable again if they made a bit of a buff to that burst fire?
Absolutely.
That's not a big change either, so maybe that's something that we can get Valve to look at. I know there's a couple people in the community who make tweets and things happen, so maybe they could
get on that. Well, see what it comes down to. I mean, they've already had a pretty heavy focus on making these scoped rifles come into action, and I mean, this tournament probably was a bit too early to see too many teams jump on that train. Even though we have seen Tony Black specifically being one to pick up an AUG. Here we go though. Byron out, already with the opening.
The mouse wheel, there it is again. You saw it just plaguing him. He's made tweets about this and it definitely hurt him in previous matches, but we'll get that first kill through the smoke, and cat control has been taken. Sean on the desk said, hasn't seen teams using cat enough, but this time around Hutchie's already there, and that smoke's going to force ENCE back into a period of limbo. Aerial wants to stay and he wants to fight, but They will mitigate this with the use of utility. It is going to be the A split as the long players are starting to commit up now. Continuing to harass through the cat smoke and take a lot of attention is Hachi, and that gives Tony Black a window to cross. Will get traded out eventually, but the A bomb site is open, and Aerial continues to find some dominance within the first halves at least. And Crush and JR now, with the bomb down, have a tough task against this retake.
2v4, no utility, Scout and a FAMAS. Not an ideal setup by any means, but they'll make the most out of it. Molotovs come flying in. JR's going to connect with Aerial immediately. Needs to be dropped by X7. It's all on Crush here with the FAMAS, seeing if he can find a first drop. No trade in place either for ENCE.
Whoa! Crush going absolutely nuts with a second shot right there. Left in a one-on-one situation. He's going to do it. Crush! Forget about Rush Hour. What about Crush Hour? That's a huge round for the Ukrainian to pick up on home soil. Everything was looking so good for ENCE there, but you pointed it out in the flurry. There was no trade potential as they were running up a little bit disjointed.
That second frag, though, still.
Oh, the flick to the head. Lovely win. We were just critiquing the FAMAS.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that head armor probably could have changed things a little bit there, but don't want to take anything away from Crush. That was insane. But ENCE right back into the bin as well. Look at that buy coming in from them.
Straight out mid as Hachi not checking the door, will fall to Alexi and Aerial. Sergey just continuing to light them up. Chopper able to find two of his own. This round starts off in a very quick fashion. We're only 6 rounds into this one, and the first couple have been very high paced. What we expected from Vega, and now they have to slow down and reconsider their options.
Question is how you're going to move forward knowing that JR has an op in his hands. Don't see him being too likely to actually throw that away anytime soon. At least going to go as a tandem. Actually going to swap it out as well. Chopper being the low HP player. Nice little move from them, but Alexi still in a position here to actually get some more work done. He's going to find JR as well. Chopper already down to 30 HP. Doesn't really have too much room to play with, and oh, he's going to go running right into the waiting arms of Alu. So that's a lot of free weaponry on the side of ENCE coming right back their way. So as much as it was a joy to behold Crush's heroics over on that A-bomb site, the joy of it doesn't stick around for long.
Yeah, all that hard work undone very quickly, but they will get another buy on the board. They do have enough money in the bank. Crush actually dropped over an AK-47. Tony Black will probably be picking that bad boy up. JR with the AWP. This is the first proper with 2 AWPs on the board.
I'm a bit surprised to see a bit of a default coming up from Vega this time.
Ooh.
Again, though, Alu's going to get the better of the first Vega player. Poking their way through through cave.
I didn't see if a flash came over there. I'm not sure if that was a dry peek or not, but Chopper will be punished regardless.
This is one of the things, as weird as it might look in an overview, right? Like with how spread out the Vega Squadron players are at times, it's also one of the issues that ENCE constantly have to keep in mind. That you can never really take any sort of aggression from Vega Squadron as a full committal. It's hard to make rotations versus a team like this. So when you have Huchi over towards Catwalk here, keeps ENCE honest in terms of making these rotations early on. Now the main front of the gang is over towards B. They're actually just going to commit right away here.
So from the backlines too with the M4, and that was a fantastic flash for information. There's the player you were speaking of, Hachi over towards Cat. He's going to fall without getting anything done, and JR will eventually find a kill, but as I say, he should have been mopped. He wasn't. JR, now the AWP is starting to get going, has found himself in a 1-on-3 situation, peeking out from the window. Goes for the fake plant. Hasn't forced Alexi to go aggressive, lobs the nade in. Nice little underhand throw there, lands on JR and takes him down. There were 2 very nice shots that he hit, but low HP and basically a massive mountain to climb in that situation. He did the best he could in a bad situation.
Still have the AWP to his name, though. So we move into the 8th round here, and being able to mount a bit of a comeback in that sense, a couple of rounds in a row.
Interesting choice from X7, though, to go for the MP9. Is he expecting them to be on eco here? Because
he is.
Oh, that was a double tag through the door from Alu there. He won't know that he's done that damage, but he might have an inkling, as there it is. Chopper just limping out long again. He wants to take these duels. And I guess when he knew that Alu was playing mid with the AWP, figured he had a bit of a chance there. And the retake towards Long's coming in. Flash is going to come over, blinds up JR. will force him back off the corner, not able to hit that shot. These little mid-round moves from ENCE are looking fantastic.
Very well. The thing is, for Vega, they found success by being so quick that there was no room for ENCE to make these kind of adjustments on the fly. Now the game has been slowed down a little bit. ENCE are coming into their own. Down into mid. In these later rounds, a lot of the time you would see Vega Squadron versus Fragsters at least move out towards mid. See if that remains the same kind of game plan from them.
Just note the position right now of Alexi, who's just been boosted by X7. When the mid-to-B does come in, if they use the regular smokes as a tell, and without that Molotov, he's just going to be able to peer over the top of that box and defend his two players of Sergey and X7, who are holding down that B-bomb side. You can hear them. He's heard the scope. He knows that they're out. He's going to stand up now, and Crush is ready and raring for that one. Alexi falls, and now the pressure's on Sergey, who stands tall, finds the kill. And it has to be a B-split at this point with 20 seconds left on the clock, and the majority of the forces over that side of the map now start to posture and push. X7 jump across, go aggressive, find the kill. Will be traded. Sergey's going to stop that window push, and now JR is left in a 1-on-3. 9 seconds left. Has to find the kill and get the bomb down very quickly, but they can rush him. They can stop this. Alu wants to push. He's going in with the window. Bomb will fall, and another round on the board for ENCE as they start to balance this one out. We are 4-4. What started with a pistol round win, and then the force buy back for Vega has quickly become an even affair, and a potential eco right now for Vega.
Yeah, first time they're not going to be able to see any weapons in their hands. And it's doing a pretty good job there of staving off the pressure. Again, see the mid take. I mean, it's cool to see the Vega have like parameters set in motion to actually deal with it. Nice shot from Alu there. But you mentioned the positioning on Alexi B. He's really in a great spot to deal with anyone coming out of mid. But Crush just sitting there waiting patiently as Hoochie's making enough noise to get him to peek. They're just expecting all of these moves coming in from ENCE towards that mid area.
Something to maybe touch on here is we've mentioned it a few times, but that's Chopper towards Long, limping out, trying to take these duels. The reason that seems unusual is a lot of teams will prioritize locking down Long, right? You're normally going to send 3 members there at the start of the round. It's such a key piece of real estate that you want to make sure that you own it as the CTs. X7 just going to grab a couple of cheeky eco kills here. And no head armor on the likes of Chopper and Tony Black. And that's $600 a pop for a kill with the MP9. He's going to get that information. We should see this round fade out here, so we can probably continue that point. But Chopper is opting on the fact that, hey, ENCE have set the precedent that they are playing heavy long, so now they can do different setups, and Vega have to respect it. Well, Chopper has no respect for anyone. He's more than happy to take these fights. And if he does find that kill, he gets that one-on-one duel, that gives him so much room to work with.
Well, I guess, you know, to play devil's advocate there and say, you know, the obvious downside of it is he could end up having Chopper play the role of JR on Inferno, right? Giving away a lot of opening kills, not getting anything for it. And even if he doesn't get the opening kill, I mean, he puts himself down in a position where he walks in with 100 HP, leaves with around 30 every single time.
This is a 4-man A play coming in right now from ENCE. They will go for the 3 towards Long to lock it down, but they've already got Alu in position on Cat in case they went for a fast biff play down the corridor. And that does appear where JR wants to head. They've also been able to cheat players across the CT. Not going to land the shot. And now Cat will be given to Vega. Lots of utility left, so they should try their best to bait out that event before going into a set piece. And X7 still holding onto that MP9, jumping around, harassing wherever he can. Oh, big nade right there. That's chunking down on 4 players. Significant damage done to Chopper and Hachi. Here comes the execute. Alu's repositioned. Alexi's extinguish the Molotov so he can stay in the bomb site. Hachi's been able to get into spawn, and they're sending 2 players up that CT ramp. Alu has to deliver in a big way here as Alexi's gone down and crushed with the follow-up. The A-bomb site's open right now, and Aerial left on the long corner. And his own to defend this site while the rotation comes in. Eventually he will be swarmed, and that was a lovely execute from Vega as they assassinate Sergey and put their 5th on the board, keeping this even as we go round for round at this point.
And Catwalk being able to find them some rounds here in the early going of this T side. At least 2 of the rounds coming off the back of a Catwalk execute. Very well done as well. Hoochie doesn't necessarily force the issue as well. He drops down into CT spawns, just kind of stays dormant until any sort of rotation comes in from ENCE. And that's some 2 easy kills as well. So money on the side of ENCE. X7 have opted out from using the MP9 again. It's gone with an op.
Oh, they've got long control very easily, and this is something that ENCE have to deal with. They will flash to retake it, but it hasn't forced the rotation out like Vega wanted. They're about to hit this B bomb site. Leading the charge here, Hachi on the entry frag, steps out. Sergey will spam away. Next responder, X7 at the doors, but he's kept at bay by the Molotov. We have ourselves a 3-on-4 situation. The bomb should go down. ENCE can posture for the retake. They do have a bit of utility. And you can see here in the picture-in-picture aerial on the flank. This could be key. Now, look at the lower dark player, though.
Yeah, JR. That's definitely not a position that you normally clear out if you're aerial.
JR could be key in this situation. They're about to throw their utility in. Flash will come over. That'll allow Touchy to peek. You will see two members unable to get a kill, but does a bit of damage. This is where the clock becomes the enemy. JR, that position, finds the kill. The fluster right now from ENCE as they have to go. Area's dark position will find a kill, and pushing out the doors is Hachi punished by Alexi. And now, back through dark. JR won't be able to get it done. Unable to get stuck in, and ENCE stay strong and trade out very efficiently in that number advantage situation. Yeah,
very good decision making from Aerial specifically right there. As soon as he knows, he gets confirmation of JR being in mid, clears his passageway really to make his presence felt from upper dark, lands the first kill onto Crush. All he has to do really is just join his teammates in pinching the last remaining player on the B bomb site. Also has wisened up to the fact that JR might have rotated back around into upper to finally find the last kill. And we see ENCE being able to get a 6th round, even on that B bomb side. But this time, Vega moving extremely quickly out towards long here. ENCE just gave that up immediately. This is a good move as well on the side of ENCE. The second they lose long control, make sure that you put some pressure on Catwalk. You don't want to get sandwiched too easily.
These guys have really done their theory, haven't they? They always have the right move. They lose a little bit of territory. They know exactly what they have to do to take back that next piece.
Absolutely. Still, though, you do give Vega Squadron an opportunity to get fairly close here up on long. Might be a bit of a surprise for Alu. The push comes in. Away we go. Nice and easy as you like. Get close, move over. That's what Vega are going to do. They're also going to find LXCB on the bomb site, that Chuchi with the opener. That's going to be a bomb plant as well, so how do you deal about this? Still player, yeah, that's Tony Black in lower dark. Sergey actually, yeah, considers the idea and does think Tony Black down to 9 HP, but at this point you're still so split if you're ENCE that you can't really responsibly go for this retake.
And they want to chase him so they can save. They need to take Tony out so they can have a part of the map that's all there. So Tony says no, he's going to grab one, and this has become very costly. We'll be able to keep that AWP in the hands of Alu. You know, a buy round that only had a couple of rifles, a MAC-10 and a Deagle, able to be made work. And that smoke is going to give away the position if anyone was close from Vega, but they just want to hold on to what they have. All 4 players over towards pit. And in rounds that it doesn't feel like Vega should have a shot, they're able to make it work. Very simple stuff.
Yeah, again, I mean, oftentimes the easy solution is the right one, or the easy option is the right one. For ENCE, though, they need to, as good as they are doing of a job of regaining control of other parts of the map when they have to give up long and whatnot, they might need to look into whether or not they want to continue to fight for long control, even at those late stages when you know that Vega potentially could have had a player down in pit, that kind of a thing, because that's a really, really tough push to actually stop. They could just drop 2 smokes immediately, a couple of flashes behind it, and all of a sudden you have 2 to 3 players on top of that A bomb site.
X7's really loving this MP9. I know it's not due to the financial situation that he has to go under, a bit of duress there, but opting to buy that over, say, a CZ or something else along those lines. Maybe he values those extra bullets. Now, cat control isn't completely in the hands of Vega, but that appears to be the next port of call. Last time, Alu missed a shot. This time, he'll miss again. This is the pushing and pulling of rotations that Sean was touching on in the desk. Once you get cat control, the CTs have to move around. You're able to keep them honest, keep players over towards this A bomb site so they can't cheat one towards CT, but they're straight onto the site, dropping into CT spawn with that MAC-10 as chopper. The nade utility has been perfect for ENCE as they're able to pick up a kill with it. Now they're dropping back. Now they want to go for the mid to B split, considering Chopper's position. On the fly, he's going to lob himself down a smoke, and The split is on. Lots of pressure on Sergey, who has the only good weapon over towards window. Spots out and falls to JR's AWP, and this is where the MP9 of X7 doesn't even have a shot as it's flashed out of the round. And now the question becomes, does ENCE want to save again? Or do they want to go for it? And the save call comes in very quickly. They know if they don't hold on to these guns, it will be potential double eco territory.
Vega, though, they're finding multiple avenues of success here. We saw it at the start through Catwalk being the way to go about it. And back to Long. And now it leaves ENCE in a position where they can't feel good about giving up any sort of ground over towards that A bomb site. And even then, I mean, Vega were able to turn this in from a bit of a Catwalk take into a B split. So definitely a lot of strings to play off on.
It's just one of Vega's strengths is doing things on the fly, right? Like whether or not that was the decision when they got stifled by those nades, Chopper getting into spawn, they're making the quick call to make it a mid to B. He still has his smoke in hand, just lobs that one down. That's not really part of the game plan, right? They're just adapting on the fly, and that's something which a lot of teams who are rigid and have structure are unable to do. If anything bad goes wrong while they're trying to pull off a strategy, while they're trying to pull off a default, the whole round falls apart.
Oh yeah, I mean, you do lose a bit of that creativity when you get very set into a certain style of structure and ways. Let's see. Oh, twice.
Twice through the door. You hate to see that as the fast cap play comes in, and Alu's going to get an AWP kill of his own. He's straight up there in their face, and X7 getting it done with whatever gun he can. This time around it's a UMP. And Alu was able to get another AWP kill during all of the madness. Look how scattered we are, and there's still a minute 30 left on the clock.
It is getting into that chaotic area that we expected so much to see. X7 is already in T spawn.
Look at him, man. A minute 20, and he's in T spawn.
Wouldn't have it any other way.
This is dust2 in a nutshell. Oh. And this Crush moving out to CD spawn as we had the replay up, and this just leaves all the pressure on JR. AWP in hand. There's 3 players now ready to take him down. Not going to hit that first shot as Alu gets 3 for the round. And even with that free opening, that JR's taken pot shots.
And is able to bounce back into it. Alu being in such a forward position on Catwalk there, to be able to get a quick trade, even follows that up with a second one. And I guess obviously the aggressive push into upper dark definitely catching people off. Again, X7 with an MP9, kind of been his thing over towards that B bomb site. He's able to jump away.
Creeks come out.
Yeah.
You love to see it.
It's bound to happen. Tony Black is the one to don it as well. Not too surprised. He is the resident AUG player as well on the side of Vega. See if he can actually be able to put it to work. Still have an AWP on JR as well. X7 is going to get the better of JR through the smoke here. See if Hoochie's interested in actually picking up that AWP. That seems to be the case, but he takes a lot of damage for it. So still comes into question whether or not that was worth it. Sergey here mid. Just be able to at least find one trade here.
Did he catch the barrel there? Yeah, he definitely did, because now he's going to peek wide and do so much damage. Not able to convert either kill, but luckily Crush takes Tony Black out for him, and now the B attack is on as X7 is over towards the car position. Can use that bad boy as armor. Now a lot more corners to check as no one has rotated over to help X7 yet. He needs to stand to get at least one, and able to do that. Crush with another kill all over the place. This has been an impact in this round from Crush. Able to find G with the AWP, and now the retake is on, very close to the doors. Oh, the Julie's in hand for Alexi as well. Just showing us what he's working with. Comes in, and from dark comes Aerial again. He's done it once, he's done it before. He's doing it right now as Crush. He has to get the ace. One more kill for the home boy right here as the nade is going to land on his feet, and it's been stolen away from him. What a fantastic round from Crush to be taken away at the very last moments. And that's 8 on the board for ENCE as they edge away this first half. And a very close back and forth affair.
Yeah, very close. Crush just, I mean, to be fair, we can give him, I guess, technically an ace, because he did down a teammate, right?
Yeah, for sure. But while they fix this tech issue, we're going to quickly go over to the break. We'll be back in a minute and 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Exactly.
just like a spark that's breaking out. Can't make a stop, can't turn back now. We know that there's no room for doubt. No, we can't turn back now. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna light it up tonight. We gonna light it up tonight. We gonna.
We are back with the second half of Dust2, the third map in the best of 5 of the grand final of StarSeries I-League Season 6.
And it's been a back and forth affair. Both teams starting off the half with a bit of a run on their own. 4 rounds to the name before it started going a little bit more back and forth. So far, Crush nearly being able to close out that first half with an ace, but
He had that 1v3 as well, didn't he?
yeah, Ariel was there to deny him the pleasure, though. And Ariel is the top performer for ENCE here so far after the CT side. He's been doing pretty well for himself, actually, on both maps that we've had previously played. So I guess not too surprising to see that come out of him. But now remains to be seen what we can get out of the teams going into the second half. And I mean, as much of a tempo we saw from Vega on their T side, as much as you know, kind of had these groups of 2 and 2 walking around to find openings and whatnot. It is a bit of a different task to play that CT side. How you're going to structure it, if you're going to set up for your basic, 2-1-2 setup, or if it's going to be 3-man focus over towards A initially, similar to what we saw ENCE do. Still comes into question for Vega Squadron, but I think they'll definitely have their chances at trying out most things, and it's going to be really interesting to see what they opt to do once JR gets an op in his hands.
Yeah, we keep pointing out how chaotic Vega like to make things on their CT side when that plant is going down. Let's see if that comes in here, because 4 players are posturing over towards that B bomb site early from ENCE. And Dark has sent 3 down towards lower, leaving X7 in upper dark, and towards the back of Catwalk will be Alu.
Remember, Vega Squadron had a super fast bus around. That was pretty much as a direct of a B rush as you can get. And sticking to their guns, though, with a slow methodical approach here to start us off.
What's curious to me is how these 2 smokes are going to be applied towards the B bomb site. A little lurk smoke has come on out here, and that allows those 2 HEs to be used towards the back of platform. The reposition right now that's come in means Tony Black isn't going to take any damage from these, but he is closer and gives the Glock a chance to get in range. Damage being exchanged as Chopper pushing through the smoke. As we mentioned, Loves with the Chaos and Ariel. He's going to open the account again. The trades will come in, and now they're locked out. No utility to flush themselves through. How will Vega deal with this post plant?
And regardless of how they decide to go about it, they still need to deal with Alu, who's up on Catwalk. And 2 players from Vega move into lower dark. Alu's going to execute one of them immediately. Be able to find the second, and he does as Alexi pushes out through window to find JR. Very well executed round from ENCE there, and you can see, yeah, very well thought through plan there, getting down the early or forward smoke to allow them to get a double nade back at the plateau. And even though that doesn't actually kill anyone or do any damage, it does section off a pretty significant part of that initial B defense hold.
Exactly.
So they're able to swarm onto the side, and it took quite some time before there were any sort of backup for the 1 player on Vega who's actually sitting on the plateau.
Something to note as well is that's both pistol rounds now in this map for ENCE. Last time around in the first half they were unable to convert. Let's see if they can convert in the second half. And surprisingly, we haven't seen anybody opt for the Scout.
Yeah, that's kind of been JR's go-to. He didn't get a kill in that previous round. And Tony Black not interested in actually dropping it off for him, so... Actually, as I say that, no, it would have been Chopper to get that drop in.
Ariel again opening the account. He's been doing fantastically on the entry frags, whether it's on the CT or the T sides. He's really come into his own throughout these playoffs. The Mirage game versus their opponent yesterday sticks out in my mind.
Really have. I mean, I guess in a sense, it's been the usual suspects to do it for ENCE throughout this tournament. On the side of Vega, it's more of a collective thing.
Still quite spread out right now as JR is going to push through the long doors. X7's going to get one of his own in the middle. He's going to try and hunt him down as Chopper able to get Alu, but UMP at that range is easy enough to deal with the head armor and the 5-7. Tony Black will fall looking the wrong way. So this should be an eco round from Vega Squadron. JR will definitely have enough for that AWP in the first gun round. The only man who will be lacking a little bit of utility, unless he opts for lesser weaponry, will be that of Hachi. And let's see if the approach is sped up a little bit by ENCE now, knowing they won't have to deal with head-armored opponents.
Yeah, they do have Olu sitting on a Mac 10, so they can't afford to send him in as a bit of a guinea pig towards any sort of place they want to get map control. It's actually going to be Ariel to be the most aggressive player right out the bat. He's going to be posted up towards short, and that's actually where Vega Squadron have decided to boost up as well. They do find one, but all in X7, quick to actually get returns, but Crush putting out the USP duel. So 2 for 2. No weapons able to been picked up for Vega, though. That's a bit of a shame. Needs can actually push one of the weapons further away, too.
Crush has definitely had the most impact on this map for Vega Squadron.
The person who's looking to have some impact here might be JR. He's making a long rotation, long flank around from B towards T spawn. Defense get a little bit staggered here. Could be the end of it.
They didn't clear the corner. They didn't hard clear the corner. Luckily enough, the lack of armor, the lack of decent pistols isn't a problem for X7 as Sergey as they mop up the problem they could have dealt with at long there. And now coming through the doors, Sergey puts a bullet in the dome of JR. And now we get to the business. Now we get to the gun round as we see the full buy come in for the Vega Squadron.
Yeah. No surprise, JR with an op. A little bit more surprising is to see Crush actually opting in for an op as well. So two double op setup on the CT side. Extremely early on in the game as well. Massive investment. We've seen that kind of spiral out of control for a lot of CT sides, but then again, it can also be what propels them to a lot of success. No connections being made on the cross for ENCE.
Oh, that's a quick pick. I don't think he's seen them in the cusp of the smoke, and Sergey straight out the mid doors now. Crush knows the jig is up, misses the shot. They jump over, and B bomb site is completely blasted open by Sergey, the 16-year-old prodigy from Finland. And that's the round done. The leg shot comes in, and they better run, they better hide, because
Fins are coming for you.
Yeah, they can be on the chase. Usually it's them with the fin in the water, but this time round,
Fin on fin action. Yeah, you could see it. ENCE are very well aware. Alexi knows he's got a leg shot on. He's one of the players.
look at all this utility they have left after getting 2 kills and getting the bomb down. In this round, they have been able to hold on to the lion's share of their utility. If they really want this chase, they can flash corners, they can Molotov corners, they can
Tony Black
use everything to force them out.
Tony Black is going to get forced out by those Molotovs as well. Now we see how committed ENCE feel about actually going for this. Well, it seems like they're actually going to temper themselves a little bit, so showing leniency, allowing for Vega Squadron to potentially go in, or to go into the next round with 3 players alive, and also that op on JR. But that was, yeah, as quickly as you like. We talked about Vega starting off their T side with a pretty hefty tempo. That was not any different from ENCE as well. And obviously getting both of those picks from mid means there's no chance for Vega to have a rotation in time. They pretty much have to give up on a retake. Another timeout coming out from Vega Squadron as well. I don't think you can put too much stock into what just happened, though, if you're Vega. You can't necessarily change fundamentally how you plan to play this CT side just off of the back of that. I mean, if anything, the one adaptation you make is potentially get JR to try to take the duel initially in double doors. See if anybody drops down suicide or...
We know Alu's going to be picking it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the fight that they could take, but it's usually favored towards the T side, unless you want to have some funny little smoke tricks going on there. As now we see him set for AVP. He's going to tag down Hachi 13 HP, and they did exactly that, however. They have JR picking middle, seeing if Alu wants to go for the re-peak, but at least in this scenario, they know that it won't be the fast mid to B. However, if they do opt to go B, Hachi will fall with a bullet to the toe.
Yeah, sneeze at him, and he goes down. He's actually going to have to play pretty far forward as well. He does have an MP9, so a bit limited in terms of what kind of positions he can take and still expect to find success. He's going to be joined by JR, though. So, again, mid-control just vacated for Vega Squadron. Closest thing they have to it is Crush on short with a deagle.
This is the most traditional version of a dust2 default you'll ever see. 2 in dark, 1 goes to lower, 1 watches the upper push, AWP staying T-spawn, a player back a cat, and 1 worrying about long. Now they go for the mid-control. They've got the Xbox smoke up, but Crush is happy to play a aggressively, as that was blind spam through the smoke from X7. Crush's day just got worse as he's been destroyed and taken out of this round. Hachi and JR have at least taken information towards Upper Dark. It doesn't help them because they can't rotate back over, but at least they know that it will more than likely be an A hit.
Problem for Hoochie right now is that he doesn't really have the HP to go too much on an exploration mission. He's too easily downed if spotted out.
This gets very interesting as Alu with the AWP, close range. It doesn't matter about the HP of Hachi at this point anymore. He has to hit that shot. The mid-to-B is coming in and JR's able to grab one. The trade will happen from X7, but action is still on in Dark. Hachi's able to make the kill, which he is. He now has an AWP in a very pivotal position of the map. The Molotov will hold him at bay for the time being. Oh, never mind. They'll smoke that one out. Oh, Chopper swings out wide, takes down Alexi, and this is definitely doable right now.
Still though, Hoochie's on solo HP. He can't really force his way through that smoke. It's going to be on Tony to take the initial attention. He's going to dive deep as well with the first peek.
Nade's not going to do enough damage to find the kill as both players were on 100 HP, but coming through the window, he'll find the kill. The trade comes out with the Dark player falling. X7 with 4 in the round, and the time is now the enemy. There's no kit in the hands of Tony. He has to run. Ariel wants to chase. He wants to take that gun away from him. Saw him just dip through the doors there to find this kill. Push through the choke point, and that was a round that looked clean from ENCE. They got very messy based on a player who was legged at the start of the round through the doors.
Yeah. Again, Hoochie, even though it just ends up with 1 kill to his name, I mean, just becomes a constant worry for ENCE. Have to focus at least some of their manpower over towards that Upper Dark area. A little bit of shout out to the HLAE devs from the Starladder Observer team. That's how you get all these cool cinematic views.
It's a bit of a,
nice to be,
it's a bit of a thank you from the Starladder team.
Yeah, nice to see homages like that. Right now, what we're looking at is ENCE trying to close out dust2. 13 rounds to their name. Another buy round and another double up setup on the side of Vega coming into this. So they're banking a lot on this very round to be successful.
This is the do or die moment right here. If Vega don't grab this one, they don't make a meal of it, then that's basically the game. That'll be 14 on the board for ENCE. Money is in the bin for Vega, who, sure, they're going to have max loss bonus, but on that CT side, with the more costly weapons, the more costly utility, it's going to be hard to get together a optimal buy.
Actually, Tony's getting a little bit brave over towards long. He's pushed into very quick precision. That allows for JR to fully focus on Catwalk. Ooh. Tony Black's actually going to continue with the push. He might find X7 here with a bomb down and lower.
He definitely will. X7 doesn't even think this is a possibility as Tony's about to peek.
Hold up a second. Sergey.
Never mind. Sergey, the Overseer, the guardian angel of X7 there, able to save his buddy. Never leave a man behind as cat control is all theirs.
Well, now the world's your oyster, ENCE. See what they make of it. They're going to swing out into mid. What they don't know is Crush's precision. Alexi's quick to get the trade on.
One of the bomb site with more players here. Ariel through the window will drop to Hachi, who's standing behind the tall box. Has to get more frags, and now the bomb drops, and the kills are falling in the favor of Vega late in the round. 9 seconds left on the board. Alexi's left on a one-on-one, can plant, but Chopper relentlessly runs on in. Loud as you like, the blades of the Chopper land, and the defuse comes on in as round once more that feels like it should be ENCE's every day of the week.
Yeah, I mean, they actually end up in a really awkward situation where obviously Tony Black's aggression doesn't pan out and he gets found by Sergey. And before ENCE really gets even into their B execute, they've cleared out the entire A bomb site without really being aware of it. Crush goes down in mid. JR gets taken down as well as he makes his rotation in there. And that's still wild. I think at least two of the players from ENCE side had yet to actually get in on the B bomb site. Obviously, time is going to be a factor at that point, but not quite lucky with it. Vega Squadron just not actually vacating that B bomb site whatsoever.
Looks like ENCE are changing things up a little bit right now. They're not going for that standard default. They have 4 players over towards long. Looks like Alu will be throwing some flashes and nades over the top so they can push on out and take that part of the map. Happy to go through the smoke is Ariel. He's led his way through. And now we can see with this lovely...
They get given up long completely.
Side by side, but they'll hear those smokes and flashes. They will know that Long is in control of ENCE right now. They have a heavy mid presence. Tony Black behind the doors, Crush there as well as an overseer, and 2 players on catwalk. The long cross is completely open, but ENCE have no way of knowing that.
Using Molotovs to clear out that cubby. There's no extra surprises there. When we saw Vega do something similar like this, when they were given the map controller towards long, they were really effective about moving up on the site. Just plop 2 smokes down and run through it. There we go, smoke number 1, smoke number 2, and a handful of flashes.
So no one was there, but now there's 3 players on the side with the help of a flash. Chopper steps out wide, takes down Aerial. The long cross was looking so good, falls apart as Alexi able to get one in transition, but it stalls a bit now. And Sergey, the action man, as you can see in the picture, will be lurking around the mid doors. Chopper continues to be the pivot point right now, as harassment is the name of the game, and no one's better at that than Vega. Constantly fighting, constantly dueling, all the angles not to be expected, and with 17 seconds left on the clock, it's going to be a hard round for Sergey to get back into. We'll find one. Time is the bigger enemy, as he's going to be held at bay. A bullet through the wall will be enough to get him to run away and save. Vega, they're still holding on. They're battling back. They're not giving up.
Yeah. ENCE just actually, for how much map control they were given, I mean, the rotation back from Catwalk was timed perfectly from Vega, and ends up stalling ENCE so much that Tony Black is able to make the full rotation around long and actually find Alu. So ENCE never got a bomb plant down. They never got anywhere near control over the bomb site. That's not what you like to see when you're given that much real estate to work with.
Yeah, I was actually picking in front of the smoke, and once again, Alu is just damaging Hutchie every time he goes, but in the meanwhile, it's been a quick long play. That's the heads-up Counter-Strike that didn't work for Fragsters. ENCE trying something out of their playbook, and they're getting shut down in the same way. Yeah, they've actually got mid-control gifted.
Yeah, they really have. Question is if they're going to be able to deal or do anything with it. JR is, at times, picking in towards mid here, but if he could get the drop, if Alu could get the drop on JR, that could be an opening for them in towards that B bomb site. Playing potential 3v3 retake for Vega is not what you want to do. Given the situation you've put yourself in here. Smokes go down. Oh, JR so quick to snap onto X7 there. No trade find right off the bat. Let's give Vega an opportunity to react here as well. Hoochie, 13 HP, has been tagged down earlier, and bomb's going to go down.
Looks the wrong way.
It's not a 3v3, but 2v3 is still very doable for ENCE here on this B bomb site. Smoke and Molotov in the hands of Vega players, though.
Alu has a Molotov, and so does Sergey. They can use those to delay for a little bit longer. And Alu is aware that the T-spawn push could be a play. As he just looks away, this could be more than enough to allow Chopper to sneak on in. Sergey has to take over the upper dark position as Alu wants to look for a kill. Flash comes over, close range, Tony back to find the kill. This is Sergey's chance right now. He's going to find one, but wasn't expecting both players to come through dark. He will fall, the defuse will come in, and this one has 16-14 or overtime written all over it.
It's starting to feel that way, isn't it? And just having issues closing out games. Found themselves in a similar position over on Train, first map of the series. 14-12 lead, not able to close that out. Now Vega starting to get some steam and slowly closing that gap that ENCE had for them.
Yeah, here's the thing right now. ENCE's money has enough on Aerial to buy. Sergey has enough. But X7, Alu, and Alexi are all under 4K.
I think you play with the round advantage that you have at this point. I mean, I think the tempting part for ENCE right now is the fact that you know you've put Vega in a bit of a rough spot economically yourself. Winning around here could be a potential reset, and obviously a pretty easy, or what should be a pretty easy way to map point at least.
The thing is, if you have a gimmicky execute that you've been saving, this is the time to bust that out, because like even on a low buy, you can get something done with it.
It's like the envious force buy execute with mid. Double pop flashes through double doors.
Yeah, for these kind of rounds, you normally want to have 2 or 3 strategies that you can pull out at any given time. Something that works in practice, something that you've dry runs to a T. And it looks like they may be opting for something similar because they have bought specific utility here.
Yeah, 2 smokes, 2 flashes.
Maybe a mid to B play here with the flashes from the player towards back of Cat. He's fallen down. they're dead, and that idea is completely stopped in its tracks before it could even get going. The aggressive cap play to grab that mid control to make sure that was an avenue of attack was a fantastic call and a fantastic read from Vega, who shouldn't have too many dramas mopping up these last two players.
That is a very nice move. I mean, again, knowing that there's most likely just going to be pistols on the side of ENCE, you can afford to give up long. I mean, you're still going to get into a position where you have the benefit of having a better range than the T side will here. The most fragile point really on the side of the CT side's map is really catwalk in mid. Do a great way of negating that. X7 is going to get taken out by Chopper, JR, or Crush actually.
That's a gimme.
Yeah.
You should be hitting those every day of the week, but not too many dramas there. It's not in a pivotal situation by any means. What are you calling if you're ENCE right now, Halvor?
What I can tell you what I'm not doing, and that's opting towards a long take. I want to see them slowly actually get catwalk control and set up for one of these basic executes that we've seen time and time again, because they can be extremely effective. I mean, if you can find an early opening, swing that into a bit of a mid pressure, and work from there.
Does look like it wants to be a B player. Support members are moving over towards Dark very quickly towards long. X7 is throwing out a bit of a distraction, and Vega have actually hedged their bets towards that side as well. Alexi's already been able to find his way out the mid doors, smoking off CT spawn, and the pace is quick as they opt to go mid to B. The flash will come over from the solo defender of JR, who's managed to delay one choke point with a smoke. And that's given enough time for the rotation to come in. Chopper's found one in transition. JR has been able to make a quick little flick towards the window and stop this push in its tracks again. And well, there's the key, there's the opening. There is enough utility if Vega want to flash a player in to take a fight.
Tony Black, though, with an insanely quick rotation here, though. Ollie might not be expecting that in upper. This Chopper lays in bullets. The smoke doesn't connect with anything, but here Tony Black comes into play, finds Alu. That puts everything out of whack for the Finns.
Back and forth again and again, and now it's left all on Tony Black coming in through Dark. That flank you spoke about, it worked to begin the round, but now 2 more kills to find with a smoke and a flash creeping on in. Has got Sergey stuck at the tall box, will get the first kill, can drop the smoke on the bomb, and he will do. Taps the defuse, gets above it, and X7 doesn't realize he's off the bomb. He's going to miss, he's going to whiff. Does Tony have the time? He's sitting it now. This is going to be close.
He's got it.
That's not quite a bee's dick, but it's getting in that territory.
Yeah, definitely so. And yeah, it's getting a bit iffy here for Vega, but the fact that they managed to fight back off of that kind of a, you know, I guess not even a gamble on their end. Like, the gamble's more really off of ENCE with a quick B push is remarkable. So quick to get onto that flank, and that's really what sets things going in the right direction for Vega.
Money for both teams on the edge right now.
And again, same setup from Vega Squadron.
And they're really expecting a quick A play to come in here, but it hasn't happened either time, and I don't mind it because ENCE are going for that slower play this time around. They've been made to respect Vega. Drop back into this default spread across the map, and they're speeding it up with their mid control. They're being a little bit quicker than in previous default scenarios.
I'm getting a little bit hopeful that we might get to see that cat execute coming in. That said, though, positioning on the side of Vega Squadron is pretty decent. Uchi's tucked away in Goose. Crush over by Carr with an AWP. He's also going to be able to get back up from JR rather quickly. Now, though, bit of a standstill as ENCE might be expecting some aggression. You can see Sergey posted up towards long. It's understandable with Tony Black and what he's been up to.
Yeah, when you look at the setup, though, that Vega have over towards that A bomb site, that's going to be so difficult. Even if you take down JR, you still have to deal with Hutchie and Crush, who are going to have a fantastic crossfire. 2 AWPs in this. This is really uncharacteristic. We don't normally see this going down like this. Execute comes in, flashes come in, pushes JR off the line, but this is that second AWP of Crush towards the ramp, tickled by the flames. Now, it's slow. They need to find an entry as the clock ticks down. They need to get in, but they're not expecting so many defenders here. Into the crosshair, ENCE they walk, and Tony towards long is the last defender while they wait for Chopper to rotate in. Sergey's playing clutch right now. Top mid. Sergey should hear that. Yeah, he definitely should have heard that right now. Or has he? He's stuck in between both players as he's able to dip away. Smoke's going to come down.
That smoke's not going to do anything at all.
What just happened there? Alu's decided to pick out into CT spawn, giving away his life and now putting all the pressure on the youngster. Fantastic play from Vega here to buddy on up. Sergey has no idea Both of them are barreling up. He's heard the noise. One kill for Sergey. The second's going to come through, and Sergey, the youngster, the Finn, able to clutch out the 1v2 situation and put another round on the board for ENCE. Absolutely decimating the economy of Vega Squadron. This is the point where ENCE need to close. They put themselves in positions like this. On train, they found themselves ready to finish, but were unable to do so. No pun intended.
I mean, it feels so labored, though. I mean, even though you could talk about how it's a solid execution, they do use you know, plenty of flashbangs actually to fend off JR. They still get caught out by the fact that both Gucci and Crush are playing over towards the actual site. They somehow managed to swing back into it. Masterful job from Sergey there to close out the round as well. But ENCE can't necessarily feel too comfortable about what they've been calling in that sense. It's not like they've gotten a read on Vega here on this T side to really understand what's going on and what kind of setups they're running into. So even though it's a bit of a labored buy on the CT side, they do have that op, and JR can definitely mess you up.
It feels like he's always had that gun, doesn't it? In all these maps,
he just finds money.
Yeah, even when there doesn't appear to be enough on the board, he's got the big green. He's going to have a lot of influence with it in this round here. He needs to be the spearhead of Vega Squadron's assault.
Just a totally different look as well into this round. 3 players very early on over towards that B bomb site. JR, Tony Black. The defenders of long. JR is going to fall back and keep an eye on mid and catwalk. Actually swings pretty far forward on catwalk as well. I'm a little bit curious whether or not, because I saw JR fire off one shot over towards long. The only person who would have been close enough to potentially hear that was Sergey. But obviously, given the back and forth nature of this game, it wouldn't be too unreasonable for ENCE to expect them not to have weapons at this stage, unless it's a force buy, but probably not an op.
Oh no, that flash is going to allow JR to go for the instant peek once it's exploded. It did just catch him there. But his presence with the AWP, as mentioned over towards long, has now forced ENCE to be on high alert over towards this cap position. We can see this does look like it is going to be another A execute. They've listened to you, however, the messages come in loud and clear. Smokes and flashes will ring on out. And JR going aggressive. He knows he has to have a massive play right now. Getting up close and personal, completely flashed at the wrong time. He's stuck in limbo, but he's able to grab one. Can he get the second? Just missing the shot. He has to duck and dive, and he's going to be taken down by X7. Now 3 players over towards that B bomb site for Vega Squadron. They have a tough retake ahead of them with old mate
Sergey in mid.
Yeah, he's been on a lot of flanks right now. They've left him in clutch positions. They've left him to be the danger man. And here, the danger continues to barrel down middle. Eventually, Tony Black will push through the long doors and take him down. Could grab that AK-47. But they don't even have a defuse kit to go for this retake.
Yeah. Been softened up pretty heavily by Sergey as well. The 2 players coming in from mid. So yeah, they're going to have to run away with this. They're not going to have an excellent buy. It's not going to be a magical op appearing in the hands of JR. Once ENCE gets to map point, it's only going to be that AK that Tony Black is able to hold on to for the time being. Remains to be seen though. Vega have been so close to completing this comeback. It'd be a bit of a heartbreaker for them to not being able to realize a map win at the stage. ENCE though, looking primed as ever. They couldn't do it on train. They did so in quite convincing fashion going into Inferno. Now we'll see if they just put the final dagger into the hearts of Vega. Full buy, full utility, op on Alu. Well, bunch of Eagles, an MP9, and an AK to the name of Vega. And they're again going for that 3-man setup right off the bat.
This should be it. ENCE need to prove to themselves that they can close. We've seen struggles with them throughout this tournament. It seems to be their biggest weakness, is the experience in these situations. Obviously, neither team
played in the best-of-5 finals before.
Yeah, this is Vega's first grand final, and it's on home soil for JR and Crush, who are both Ukrainian, the other 3 members. The Vega Squadron side from Russia.
Yeah, this is completely new territory, and not only that, I mean, we have to consider the fact that Mirage is to come up next, but at that stage, these teams are playing more matches in playoff brackets than they've done before.
Oh, that's an interesting smoke.
Let's see.
I don't think...
Oh, well, okay. Well, I mean, it lands eventually.
Quite a long one. Definitely a tell there, but we'll, I guess, hold them off for now. There's nothing behind that, though. It's a cool idea.
Such a strange smoke that ENCE probably do a bit of a double take, thinking like, well, this isn't ordinary.
They've hedged B again. You can see on your radar right now that there are 3 players over towards the B bomb site for Vega Squadron, hoping that JR and Tony Black can get it done on the A bomb site, and that's where the attack is. This time around, it's just a pop flash, and out they go. The headshot from Alexi B comes in, the first nail in the coffin. Map number 3. So Alexi's feeling it now. Confidence behind the in-game leader of ENCE as he goes for a second kill. Now towards middle X7 at the not-so-green box. There's 3 members to find. He'll get dinked down. Going to find 1 now. It's just 2 members stand in ENCE's way from taking this, and that is going to be all she wrote, as the not-so-steady aim will eventually ring true. And in a very back-and-forth game, one that, you know, there's a lot of impact rounds in. ENCE are able to stay alive. They're able to close, and they're able to give themselves a 1-map buffer moving into number 4, which will be Mirage.
Yeah, and I mean, that's leading into this entire matchup. That's what we were thinking. That's going to be where Vega make their stand.
Yeah.
They did so on train, somewhat unexpectedly to us to start it off. But even though they come away with dust2 with another L to their name, I think they can feel good about where they're at going into the 4th map of the series.
Sure. If you look at the stats for these guys from ENCE on Mirage, they're very up and down affairs. Some games they've been completely blown out of the water, like 16-2 type score lines. Other times around they've had, you know, games that they've rolled over teams or have been close in harder opponents. So that's something to consider for map number 4. But this one here to break down, you got to think about this. Both their teams had clutches. We had clutches coming in from Tony, and Crush had a lot of impact within that first half. And then when we flipped on over, Sergey had a 1v2 of his own. So this one, it delivered. We got everything we wanted.
Yeah, we definitely did. Just a little bit sad to see, I guess, Vega not being able to take it quite back in the end. I mean, they did get pretty close, 13-12 at one stage. If they, I mean, they were definitely vying for, if not a win, but, you know, at least taking it to overtime. And again, we're getting good, solid individual performances from both sides. That's really all we can ask for at this stage. I'm curious to see what team is going to hold up better as we move into unknown territory, really, for both these sides with a 4th map.
Yeah, I think the positive sign for this series as we're waiting to throw to that desk is that nobody is really missing. Sure, Hachi hasn't had a huge performance, but everyone's aim seems to be there in the moments they need to show up. They're hitting the shots that they should. It's not anybody just completely disappearing off of the map. So
Crush even show that, you know, FAMAS can work when need be.
I still think that they need to buff the burst fire.
I'm 100% with you on that one. So whoever's watching from Val, please take note.
Or
tinker with it a little bit.
If Don Hassey is actually a Valve employee, which does seem pretty likely with the last update.
Yeah, it's seeming more
likely. If he
likely.
could just fix it for us, that'd be nice.
That would be really good.
The panel is ready. Let's get over to them.
Loot bet. With Hellcase multi-cases, you are no longer restricted by random case opening mechanisms. Now, you are able to pick any of the cells containing skins and actually determine what you win. Use the promo code and dive right in. Hellcase multi-cases, you're no longer restricted by random case opening mechanisms. Now, you are able to pick any of the cells containing skins and actually determine what you win. Use the promo code